Hi there, very warm welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. My name is Kitty Bahel. After Mahayuti's stellar performance in Maharashtra, all eyes now are on the next Maharashtra Chief Minister, whether it's going to be Fadnavis or Eknath Shinde. That is expected to be decided tomorrow. Series of meetings have taken place today. Well, in these latest visuals that have come in, Eknath Shinde was just elected as the Shiv Sena leader by his party MLAs. And earlier also Eknath Shinde was seen meeting the women supporters. He had received overwhelming support at an event that was organized for the Mukhyamantri Maji Ladki Behan Yojana, with women enthusiastically chanting slogans in his favor, clicking selfies also with him. Meanwhile, latest visuals that have come in from the Mumbai hotel, where his party MLAs had gathered to elect him as the leader of this Shiv Sena, after which we do understand tomorrow there are also going to be meetings that will take place, and a meeting of all alliance partners is going to take place, in which the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra is expected to be decided. Well, the NCP party MLAs also had elected Ajit Pawar as their party leader today. Well, Eknath Shinde is one of the top contenders for the Chief Minister post in Maharashtra. We bring you this journey of Eknath Shinde from being a rickshaw driver to being the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. He's seen a lot of ups and downs in his life. Let's take a look.
The Maharashtra elections weren't just about winning the state, it was also a prestige battle between Uddhav Thackeray against Eknath Shinde. This election was an opportunity for them to settle the debate of who actually led the Shiv Sena. Was it Uddhav Thackeray or Eknath Shinde for the Shiv Sena? From auto rickshaw driver to Maharashtra Chief Minister, Eknath Shinde's journey has been quite inspiring.
असा मुख्यमंत्री म्हणून माझी कामे यथायोग्य पार पाडण्यासाठी आवश्यक असेल ते खेरीत करून.
Born in Satara district, Eknath Shinde's political journey wasn't a meteoric rise. His political journey began in 1980s when he was introduced to politics by Anand Dighe, the then Thane Shiv Sena president, when he emerged as a prominent Labour leader. Eknath Shinde's success in local politics paved the way for his entry into the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly and held several key positions. First elected to the Assembly in 2004, he was appointed as the Thane district head of Shiv Sena a year later. Over the years, Eknath Shinde's political influence continued to grow, with his re-election in the Assembly in 2009, 2014 and 2019. From 2014 to 2019, he served as the Minister for PWD and was also the Guardian Minister of Thane district. He was later appointed as the Minister for Public Health and Family Welfare in 2019 and also served as the Minister of Urban Development and Public Works and Acting Minister of Home Affairs in late 2019. Once again, Eknath Shinde is at the forefront, with Mahayuti winning the Maharashtra elections, scripting history.
ईवीएम का देखो, अभी झारखंड में ईवीएम अच्छा है क्या? झारखंड में, कर्नाटक में ईवीएम अच्छा था. जब भी अभी वो लोग पहले जब जीतने के बाद बोलते ईवीएम अच्छा है, इलेक्शन कमिश्नर अच्छा है, वो लोग तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक तो उनको सलाह मशवरा देते हैं. उनको वो जो यंत्रणा उनके बाजू से, मतलब उनके फेवर में रिजल्ट आते अच्छी है. अभी तो वोटर लिस्ट पे भी उन्होंने ऑब्जेक्शन लिया था. तो जब हार जाते हैं तो बोलते ये यंत्रणा खराब है, जीतते हैं तो बोलते अच्छा है. ऐसा कैसा है?
Things turned turtle when in 2022, Eknath Shinde led a revolt within the Shiv Sena, pushing for a breakup of the Maha Vikas Aghadi and a re-establishment of ties with BJP. This episode had witnessed a lot of drama, with allegations of horse trading and betrayal coming from the Uddhav faction. However, with the support of 40 MLAs, Shinde with top BJP leaders were successful in forming the government, and the Balasaheb loyalists taken the CM's chair from the Thackeray's side. Eknath Shinde was sworn in as the 20th Chief Minister of Maharashtra in June 2022, with BJP's Devendra Fadnavis as the Deputy Chief Minister. After assuming the Chief Minister's post, Eknath Shinde staked claim to the party name and symbols, feuding with Uddhav Thackeray. The matter was taken to court and the Election Commission of India recognized Shinde's faction as the official Shiv Sena. Under Eknath Shinde's leadership, the Shiv Sena managed to win only 7 seats during the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. The Uddhav Thackeray-led faction, on the other hand, won 9, hinting at a potential political renaissance ahead of the assembly elections. Now, with a massive win, Eknath Shinde and other Mahayuti leaders have credited the Ladki Bahin scheme and development work. But with BJP's stunner performance, all eyes are on what will be in store for Eknath Shinde. NDTV Bureau Report.
Well, a lot of credit for the Mahayuti's victory in Maharashtra goes to Devendra Fadnavis. Well, the BJP has emerged as the single largest party in Maharashtra with a strike rate of about 90%. It's the highest ever strike rate that the BJP has received in Maharashtra. Well, let's take a look at this report on the man of the moment, Devendra Fadnavis.
मेरा पानी उतरता देख मेरे किनारे पर घर मत बसा लेना। मेरा पानी उतरता देख मेरे किनारे पर घर मत बसा लेना। मैं समंदर हूँ लौट कर वापस आऊंगा।
The ultimate comeback man of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis. The architect of the BJP and Mahayuti's historic victory. It's been a meteoric and dramatic climb up the political ladder for Devendra Fadnavis. From a corporator to becoming the youngest mayor of Nagpur to the first BJP chief minister of Maharashtra. And he looks all set to occupy the state's top post for the 3rd time. He, although, maintained that the coalition will decide the next chief minister.
सीएम पद के ऊपर कोई भी विवाद यहाँ नहीं होने वाला, क्योंकि पहले दिन से ये तय है कि चुनाव जब संपन्न होगा तो चुनाव के बाद तीनों पार्टियां मिलकर इसको तय करेगी।
उम्मीद से ज़्यादा कुछ मिला है।
उम्मीद थी बहुत अच्छा होने की, बहुत अच्छे से थोड़ा और अच्छा हुआ है, बहुत खुशी है। और इसके लिए कारण है हमारे भाजपा का एक एक कार्यकर्ता केडर। इसके लिए कारण है महाराष्ट्र, लाड़की बहनें जो जाग उठी, महाराष्ट्र जाग उठा और उन्होंने सोचा कि प्रगति किधर है वहीं हम जाएंगे और उधर मतदान करके उन्होंने ये रिजल्ट दिया है।
In a state dominated by Maratha politics and politicians, the 54-year-old Brahmin leader with deep roots in the RSS has carved his own space. Son of Jan Sangh and later BJP leader late Gangadhar Fadnavis, whom his fellow Nagpur politician and former party chief Nitin Gadkari called his political guru, Devendra Fadnavis cut his teeth in politics at a young age when he joined ABVP in 1989. At 22, he became a corporator in the Nagpur civic body and its youngest mayor in 1997 at the age of 27. Fadnavis contested his first assembly election in 1999 and won. There was no looking back for him as he won 3 subsequent assembly elections. He currently represents Nagpur South West seat in the House. Unlike many leaders across the political spectrum in Maharashtra, Fadnavis has remained untainted by accusations of corruption. After Uddhav Thackeray demitted office following the large-scale desertions in the Sena, many thought that Fadnavis would become the chief minister. However, the BJP leadership had other plans, and a reluctant Fadnavis swallowed the bitter pill to become the deputy CM.
मैं आधुनिक अभिमन्यु हूँ, चक्रव्यूह को भेदना जानता हूँ। हमने चक्रव्यूह को भेदा है और ये कोई मैं पहले भी कह रहा हूँ, वापस कह रहा हूँ, इस विजय में मेरा बहुत छोटा उसमें मैं समझता हूँ कि सहभाग है। एक ये हमारी जो पूरी टीम है, इस टीम ने इस विजय को लाया है।
Devendra Fadnavis arose as one of the younger, more clean leaders in the BJP, but he is not universally acknowledged as everybody's leader in the BJP. Quietly, BJP leaders, I spoke to many who have become MPs, quietly they do accept that he is the only person who can keep the BJP together.
In Maharashtra.
In Maharashtra.
Fadnavis has enjoyed the confidence of both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah.
मोदी जी ने जो नारा दिया था, एक है तो सेफ है, इस नारे को यथार्थ में लाते हुए महाराष्ट्र के सभी समाज के सभी लोगों ने एकता दिखाते हुए महाराष्ट्र में मतदान किया है और इसके कारण ये इतनी अच्छी जीत हमको मिली है.
At an election rally earlier, Prime Minister Modi had said Devendra Fadnavis is Nagpur's gift to the country. Fadnavis's first tenure as the Chief Minister was characterized by a combination of good governance and effective political maneuvering. He also brings in the urban and young voters closer to the BJP.
As the BJP and Mahayuti celebrate their historic victory, Devendra Fadnavis stands as the man of the moment. In fact, as Mahayuti gears up for the road ahead, all eyes on Fadnavis as he is the man of comebacks in this highly complex political environment of the state. With video journalist Mahesh Halwai, this is Radhika Ramaswamy for NDTV.
We'll get you more on that as developments take place. Tomorrow is going to be the big day when the final stamp on who becomes the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra is put on the name of either Fadnavis or Shinde. That is what is expected. All eyes will be on that. Now, after registering a decisive victory in the Jharkhand Assembly elections, Hemant Soren is also set to take oath as Chief Minister on November 28. Despite facing a fierce challenge from the BJP-led NDA alliance that mounted an aggressive campaign, the JMM managed to secure 56 seats in the 81-member assembly. Hemant Soren had met the governor today to resign as Chief Minister and stake claim to form the government. Listen in.
प्रक्रिया में आज राज्यपाल महोदय के पास हम लोगों ने अपना वर्तमान सरकार से इस्तीफा देते हुए आगामी सरकार की गठन की रिक्वेस्ट और निवेदन और दावा हम लोगों ने पेश किया है महामहिम जी के समक्ष और उन्होंने हमें कार्यवाही मुख्यमंत्री का भी जिम्मा सौंपा है और सरकार बनाने का न्योता भी उन्होंने हमें दिया है.
All right, news coming in from UP Sambhal. Political slugfest has erupted over the Sambhal incident. The Samajwadi Party and Congress have blamed BJP of fomenting tensions in Sambhal after 3 people were killed in a violent clash as a mob opposing a survey of a mosque had clashed with the police. Akhilesh Yadav today said that the Supreme Court must take cognizance of the incident. The intention of the survey team was to create chaos. The BJP, on the other hand, has warned that nobody has the right to break the law. There is an attempt to destabilize the country, which the BJP won't allow.
समाजवादी पार्टी सबसे पहले संभल के हिंदू मुसलमान से शांति की अपील बंद करती है कि शांति बनाए रखे. शांति की अपील है. जो कुछ भी हुआ वो दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और आदरणीय अखिलेश यादव जी ने जिस तरह से पहले ही सुबह इस बात को कहा कि प्रशासन का फेलियर है. समाजवादी पार्टी समझती कि जो कुछ भी हुआ दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है. 3 नौजवानों की मौत हुई है, वो भी दुखद है. समाजवादी पार्टी इस अवसर पे केवल इतना कहना चाहती है कि संभल के लोग वो शांति बनाए रखे, शांति व्यवस्था बनी रहे. इसके लिए हिंदू मुसलमान दोनों को प्रयास करने चाहिए.
देखिए, ये हंगामा बिल्कुल सोचा समझा हुआ हंगामा है. पुलिस पे पत्थर बरसाए जाते हैं, छतों से पत्थर बरसाए जाते हैं, और जबकि पता है कि न्यायालय के आदेश पे सर्वे हो रहा है, कोई पुलिस सर्वे नहीं करवा रही है. तो एक जानबूझ के एक अस्थिरता का पैटर्न है जो ये पूरे घमंडी अलायंस लोग पूरे देश में करवाना चाहते हैं. ये देश को अस्थिर करना चाहते हैं. 4 जून के बाद से बदस्तूर ये कोशिश जारी है, लेकिन सफल नहीं हो पाएंगे. इनकी कमर तोड़ देंगे हम. आपके माध्यम से बताना चाहता हूं कि इनकी कमर तोड़ दी जाएगी.
Former Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud attended NDTV's India Samvad Samvidhan at 75 Summit Conclave here in Delhi. Well, the former Chief Justice of India spoke about the need for transparency in the appointment of judges and says that the collegium is misunderstood. Listen in.
ये जो collegium system है, शायद there is a lot of misunderstanding about the way the collegium system works. The collegium system has entrusted responsibilities to different levels of the state. I'm not saying the government, the different levels of the state in a federal system. So the high courts are involved in the process of appointment of judges. Files are processed by the governors and by the chief ministers in the states, because they are the executive in the federal form of government in the states. The file is then processed at the level of the union government in the Ministry of Home Affairs. The Intelligence Bureau will give its inputs. ये सारे इनपुट्स जब एकत्रित करते हैं तो फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट को भेज देते हैं. The Supreme Court will give its opinion and then recommend what is to be done in the appointment of a particular case. And then it goes to the government and then ultimately to the president for appointment of judges. So you will see that the system of appointment is very nuanced. It is multi-layered. Transparency की आवश्यकता ज़रूर है, पर जब transparency की बात करते हैं हम, देखिए पिछले 2 साल में what are the norms on which we appoint judges? इसको हमने publicize किया है website पे सुप्रीम कोर्ट के. First, we look at the seniority of the judge. ये नहीं कि सबसे जूनियर मोस्ट जज को आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट, हाई कोर्ट में सबसे जूनियर मोस्ट जज है उसको आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट लाएंगे, ये बात तो चल नहीं सकती. Seniority, integrity, merit, the need for regional representation of different states in the Supreme Court, the need for broad and diverse representation on the basis of gender, marginalization, on the basis of also, social transformation. Personally, I am a proponent of the fact that a judge cannot completely ignore their emotions, because law without emotions would be equal to tyranny. It's the emotions which give a judge a sense of compassion, the sense of humanity. क्योंकि निर्णय जब देते हैं, कोई भी जज निर्णय देता है और देती है, तो उसमें जो समाज कार्य की भावना है वो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है.
All right, we have news coming in from the world of sports now. Indian players have been making big bucks at the IPL auction ceremony today. Rishabh Pant shattered Shreyas Iyer's record to become the costliest cricketer in the history of the IPL auction. Well, Pant was bought by Lucknow Super Giants for an amount of 27 crore rupees. Earlier in the auction, Shreyas Iyer was sold to Punjab Kings for 26.75 crore rupees. My colleague Rika Roy gets us more.
It is indeed the day of Iyers and perhaps a season of Iyers, but the big headline, of course, the man who has headlined the show has been Rishabh Pant, India's wicketkeeper batter, known as the next MS Dhoni in Indian cricket. He was snapped up for 27 crore rupees by Lucknow Super Giants, and everyone ahead of the auction said that Rishabh Pant was perhaps the biggest fix in this auction. And Lucknow Super Giant lived up to the billing. They had budgeted 26 crore rupees, but they didn't mind paying another crore extra to the man in the right to match dynamic. But apart from Rishabh Pant, it has been a big day for the wicketkeeper batters. Just think about Jitesh Sharma, who was paid 11 times his base price, 11 crore rupees by Royal Challengers Bangalore. Ishan Kishan was paid 11.25 crore rupees by Sunrisers Hyderabad. Apart from that, as you rightly mentioned, it has been a day of Iyers. Shreyas Iyer getting 26.75 crore rupees from Kings 11 Punjab. Perhaps they are looking at a captain in him there, and Venkatesh Iyer, Kolkata Knight Riders, snapping him up for 23.75 crore rupees, showing some amount of desperation there. He was not retained by them when the retentions happened. They were expecting to buy him back, but the auction dynamics pushed up the price to 23.75 crore rupees. It was a big day for the Indian pacers also. Mohammad Siraj going for 12.25 crore rupees to Gujarat, Mohammad Shami for 10 crores to Hyderabad, Avesh Khan for 9.75 crore rupees to Lucknow, Prasidh Krishna 9.5 to Gujarat, Harshal Patel, also known as Purple Patel because he's been wearing the purple cap very often, going for 8 crore to Gujarat. Punjab Kings, in fact, went for big buys because they had the biggest prize purse. They paid 18 crore rupees each to Arshdeep Singh and Yuzvendra Chahal, and they also used the right to match card for Arshdeep. Apart from that, there were some of the players who returned home. Jofra Archer was given 12.5 crore rupees to get back to Rajasthan Royals. Ravi Ashwin, Devon Conway returned to Chennai. Trent Boult was snapped up for 12.5 crore rupees and he went to Mumbai. The interesting thing in this auction has been some of the top Australian players getting low bids. Glenn Maxwell being sold for 4.2 crore rupees. Mitchell Starc, who got a premium buy last time around, went for 11.7 to Delhi. David Warner was unsold on day 1 of auction. But some of the uncapped players have also got big deals, like Nehal Vadera got picked at 14 times his base price. His base price was 30 lakh rupees and he was paid 4.2 crore rupees by Punjab at the auction.
All right, on that note, it's time to wrap this edition. More news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned.